Hi, I'm Kaleigh. I'm chronically ill and disabled. I have POTS, IST, MCAS, hEDS, thoracic outlet syndrome, myofascial pain syndrome, and central pain syndrome. I also have bipolar 1 disorder, OCD, and PTSD. You might know me as chronic.kaleigh from TikTok and Instagram. If not, this video is for you. Navigating the medical system and the diagnostic process over the last 3 years that I've been sick has been the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. In March 2022, I started not feeling well, lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, and for about 20 months, I was a medical mystery. I saw several specialists when I wasn't feeling well. Of course, I saw my primary care doctor. She said it was a virus. I ended up in the emergency room, was also told it was a virus. I didn't see my first specialist until 6 months after the onset of my symptoms. So in September 2022, I finally saw hematology. I was sent there because I had low iron and high platelets. So she wanted to tackle the high platelets by bringing my iron up, so I got a series of iron infusions, but she didn't have anything to say about my symptoms. After that, I saw rheumatology, and that appointment was the first time that I was deeply gaslit and dismissed. The rheumatologist was in the room for maybe 5 minutes, and I'd say in 3 out of those 5 minutes, he spent telling me that I'm just fat, I need to lose weight, and I'm mentally ill. I was crushed. After that, I decided to see a gastroenterologist. I was having diarrhea really frequently, lots of stomach pain, constant nausea, which I'm still battling. I had a colonoscopy, endoscopy, and those were both pretty much normal. That brings us to 2023. In February, I saw an allergist. We did all of the normal allergy testing. I found out that I'm allergic to cats, as well as poplar trees and dust bites. And it was with my allergist that we noticed my chromogranin A was 3 times the normal amount. But I didn't really have a specialist that knew what to do with that, so we just kind of set it aside and ignored it. And then 2 weeks later, I saw a neurologist, and he failed me. By that point, February 2023, POTS was on my radar, and I went into this neurologist hoping to talk about POTS and really hoping to get a formal testing, tilt table test. So I saw this neurologist. Of course, I told him my whole story, and I asked about POTS, so he decided to do orthostatic vitals. My orthostatic vitals came back normal. What he missed was that I was on 80 milligrams of propranolol. 80 milligrams of propranolol is a significant dose. Propranolol is a beta blocker. If you have POTS, you know where this is going. The whole point of beta blockers is to lower your heart rate. So of course my orthostatic vitals were normal. I was on a medication that was lowering my heart rate. So I thought, okay, well, we officially ruled out POTS. It was at that point in March 2023 that I decided I'd had enough. It had been a year of searching for answers, of not feeling well, continuing to get worse. So I applied to be a patient at Mayo Clinic. I was not accepted, so I applied at Cleveland Clinic, where I was accepted. At the beginning of March, I saw an internist virtually, told him my whole story. It was a really great appointment. He was really thorough. In that appointment, he decided that I should see endocrinology, gastroenterology, rheumatology, and hematology at Cleveland Clinic. He seemed pretty sure that the symptoms that I was experiencing were carcinoid syndrome because of a carcinoid tumor or another neuroendocrine tumor. So I had to wait from March till June, and in June I went to Cleveland Clinic to see these 4 specialists. I had so much testing done at Cleveland Clinic, yet I did not receive any diagnoses. And that was really hard for me to accept because in the months and the weeks leading up to my visit to Cleveland Clinic, I was thinking, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Once I get to Cleveland Clinic, like, I will get answers and things can start looking up for me, and that was not the case. But like I said, at Cleveland Clinic, they were super thorough. Remember that chromogranin A? Yeah, my gastroenterologist at Cleveland Clinic decided to test it again in June. It hadn't been tested since February, and instead of 3 times the normal amount, it came back 5 times the normal amount. And that was really concerning to my gastroenterologist because that is often a tumor marker, particularly for neuroendocrine tumors. So now there were a couple of my specialists who were thinking, like, we really need to look into this further. This really could be carcinoid tumor, neuroendocrine tumor. So I returned to Cleveland Clinic a month later in July of 2023 and had a full body DOTA-8 PET scan. It came back normal. So after that, my specialists were stumped. I was stumped. I didn't know where to go next. I hadn't had a super helpful doctor up until that point that was able to guide me. All of these specialists that I had seen in this year and a half, I was the one searching them out. I was the one saying, I guess I'll see rheumatology, I guess I'll see neurology. I didn't have referrals for any of them. And I was just continuing to get worse. In September 2023, I saw a cardiologist. I did the 14-day Holter monitor, and that showed that I was tachycardic a lot of the time. pretty high resting heart rate, which later I would find out was my IST. I started posting on TikTok a couple of months before my first trip to Cleveland Clinic in June 2023. And I'm bringing this up because it was TikTok where I met some friends where they changed my life. One of my friends I made through TikTok who lives in Chicago texted me one day and said, there is a neurologist, she's a dysautonomia specialist, she is transferring institutions, she will not have a wait list. You have to call October 1st and get on her schedule. So I did exactly that. I called October 1st. I got in with her within 2 weeks. That was the doctor, my second neurologist, who changed things for me. And she is now the main provider in my care team, guiding everything along. And that was the first time a doctor said to me, there is something wrong with you and we are going to figure out what. So she sent me for full autonomic testing, and that also somehow the universe was looking out for me, and I was able to get in for that within 2 weeks. At the same time she ordered autonomic testing, she sent me off to physical therapy, and my physical therapist is now someone on my care team that I really trust and really value. I've been in physical therapy once a week since October 2023, so about 18 months. There does not seem to be an end in sight. It seems to be indefinitely. We're working on my hypermobility. We're working on my POTS, especially my standing tolerance, but that's okay because I really enjoy physical therapy, and it's because of the people at that office. My physical therapist is so funny, always able to lift my mood, and I'm really grateful for that. So my autonomic testing came back and showed that I do have POTS and IST. So of course, once I was diagnosed with POTS and IST, my neurologist sent me off to a new allergist who knew a lot about MCAS. That allergist diagnosed me with MCAS. My neurologist sent me to pain management, which has been a huge help, though I still am having a lot of pain and we're still trying things out. And it was when I saw my neurologist in my follow-up that she diagnosed me with hypermobile EDS. So I got my Trifecta diagnoses, but unfortunately that's not all. I still have a lot of GI issues we haven't been able to get to the bottom of. I've now seen 3 GI doctors, the first that did my colonoscopy endoscopy, the second at Cleveland Clinic, and my current GI doctor, she's actually a neuro GI. I've had a lot of GI tests. There have been many times where things have come back abnormal, but not abnormal enough for it to mean something or point to something really conclusively. Like there's all of these little things here and there, but none of them fit together in a perfect puzzle. So now, even 3 years after the onset of my symptoms, which included my constant nausea, my diarrhea, my stomach pain, I still don't have answers. And 2 weeks ago, I just hit the 3-year anniversary of the onset of my symptoms. So things are still very much a work in progress. So that's my story up until this point. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm at the point now where I'm pretty much homebound. I leave my apartment to go to doctor's appointments. I leave my apartment to go to the pharmacy, and that's pretty much it. I am disabled by my illnesses, and my health continues to decline even though I do everything my doctors ask of me. So I hope you'll stick around. Follow my journey. You can also find me on TikTok and Instagram at chronic.kaleigh, and I'd really appreciate it if you could like, comment on, and share this video, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my videos. Thank you so much for watching.